Hello, I have news. So we had stopped for lunch there, changed over the batteries, and we had a visitor. Vis-a-vis windows. We're thinking of a new solution because I find the windows very tricky. I have enrolled in a window fixing course, but it's not till May. I need the windows and doors in within the next probably 3 months, maybe 2 months, so we can get on with rendering and things. So anyway, new plan is maybe have a look at this. I'm going to turn you around. So a lot of the windows are in, they look like they're good shape because they're painted, but when you get at it, look how skinny Malinky that is, so cute. They are, let me show you on this window. Archie, let's have a look at that. Oh, don't do any more cracks. I need to get them out to measure them. Yeah, they're just in, they're not in great shape. And as you can see from the other window, when we took it out, there was lintels to address. So I can't fix any of them in situ. I'm going to have to take them all out. So what we were thinking is it has been sourced yellow pine, which is what these windows are made of. That's from the same age, kind of 1890, probably 1900. And so what we're thinking is trying to get some of the panes of glass out to measure them to see if they're all the same. And we could remake the same windows in the yellow pine that's of the same age and then reuse the glass. This one has chipped. I think Archie...
Oh, I'm trying to get this.
No, we'll keep working on the one that's already cracked because I can still take a size of it. But I really... we need different tools to get them out without breaking any more. I have some replacement glass at home. I don't know if it's the same size, but I can check. So if each of these panes of glass are the same size, it'll be easier, Alan was saying, for us to make new windows and reuse that glass, but make it with the woods of the same age. Because I just don't know how I'm going to get those done, and it's questionable if they are good for fixing, because you know, if you're having to replace more than 50% of the wood, then you're not really saving much. And let me show you the kitchen one. You know, the bits that you see are okay, but a lot of it is just dust underneath. And then, you know, I don't want to create any hassles for Jenny. Yeah, I don't think any conservation officer is going to say you could fix that. I don't know, maybe they would, but I might have to admit defeat on this one. And that was all painted up nicely. You would have thought, oh, I thought this was a good window. I thought the one I took out was the worst, but I think the one I took out is the best. Yeah, that's a sash that went on its side, but it doesn't even have the bottom of the sash. But how lovely if you did have a sideways sash that you could open there in the kitchen. Anyway, that was already cracked. I didn't crack that one. I need to try and get as much glass out as I can without breaking it. So anyway, I thought I would update you because that was yeah, look, how do you fix that? I mean, do you know what I mean? And it's not putty they've been put up with. I don't know what that is, but it is the hardest substance to man. And this is such old glass, and it is, see those bits? Oh, great. They're fantastic to get out. But then, that's because the water's sitting on those over the years. But this at the side, I don't know what kind of tool I need. A really fine chisel, I think. But yeah, I don't think they're fixable. I think I really wanted them to be, but they're not. So the next best thing is to make the exact same again in the same old wood and use the same glass, isn't it? And then if that doesn't work, well, the next plan would be then to put in the heritage windows. But if I have to do that, if I have to put those in, I can't afford to plaster this year. It would be one or the other. And I really don't want it to sit open all, the stone open all winter. But look, if it has to, it has to. The heat will be on inside at least, and that'll keep it relatively dry. But I can afford to plaster and put in the heritage sash double glazed windows. Simple as. But I'm still working on a plan for plastering money. I'm thinking what else I can sell. But you know what? In life, and I hope this doesn't sound pretentious, because I've had lots of cycles in life where I had money, haven't had money, had a little bit of money, had a little bit more than I needed, comfortable, not comfortable. But the least important thing when making a decision is the money. It is part of it. But you see, if you make a commitment to do something and your whole heart is in it, and it is 100% what you want and 100% what you need to do, the money finds its way to you. I know that's very moonshine, charge up your crystals, but I genuinely believe that to be true. Lots of times, even with the buying of this place, where it's not, if we'd have waited until everything was sitting in excess in the bank account, we never would have done half of the things we've done. But when you make a commitment, then all of a sudden a job offer comes in, a sale goes through, and it works out. It works out. So it's, for instance, even with the heating system, and we were like, oh, how are we funding that? And the flooring, and then boom, my brother wanted to buy Walter the camper van. Problem solved. So I think there is a solution coming my way for the plaster. I 100% believe that to be true. And because I know that that's an amount that I can sort out. But I would not take the risk ordering windows and plastering, because I think that's taking the mickey. I don't think I can. It's definitely not in the budget, and I can't see how I would manifest both. One, yes, it's on its way. Two, don't rip the hand out of the whole situation. The universe is working for you, but you have to work back. I'm just looking around what to do. Do you know what I do want to tell you? Because Alan, who was chatting to me about the windows and the well, I was explaining how on the old 1835 maps, I think it is, or 1823 maps. It's early 1800s, okay? And I can share the inset because I've shared it before, because it was the paddock gate was on it. This house is on it. The outhouses are on it. But you see over there, where I'm pointing? There was a building there. There's no sign of it now. There's no sign of it on the older maps. But there was a building here. Now what I noticed today, I was up in Spring Hill, the National Trust property. The lands were in Spring Hill named from 16 something or other. 17 something they built the house. But when you're exiting Spring Hill, the pillars are square. Not, I'm going to flip you. So not round like these two. Tall and square like these. And there is a definite chronological dating order for pillars in Ireland, where you kind of know the date of the fashion. So I'm going to look this up and see, because I have a suspicion that these pillars are older. And why just have the random pillars coming into the top end of the paddock? These pillars didn't even come into the paddock that we reopened the gate for. That was a different paddock. These pillars, and then the big building that went along there. So I think there was an original cottage over there, and that's where these pillars belong to, because Spring Hill is that way, and not very far that way either. Look at those lovely fields. Oh my gosh, I love a ploughed field. So when the digger comes, these are all fallen brambles I have to cut back. We're trying to do a bit of activity in around there, but we're going to try and clear some of this to see if we can find any trace of the old property that was there. Look, you know, stones like this. What are you doing there? Are you up there for a purpose? Because I think that little field there and this gate in belonged to this old house. And then somebody got married or family extended, and this one was built, and they made new fancy round pillars. This is what I think. So you could be looking at somebody living here, using that well, maybe 450 years. I'm determined to find out. So if I have inserted information about those pillars here, I found it out. So yeah, this is where we're at with our little windows and our chipping. I'm going to put the camera away now for a little bit and get on with some things, but I'll bring you back when I've done a bit more. Look at these lovely bluebells. I think, are they native ones? I think, yeah, these ones that bend are. But if you've got them coming out of both ends, like that one, I think that's a Spanish bluebell. I wish I'd moved them, but I'll have to wait till the flowers die now and try and move them somewhere safe, because there's a lot more building work to go on there. So I'll try and rehome those bluebells. How wonderful would it be if the bluebells spread out a little area, or over here by the trees? Oh, that would be so good. Such a lovely day. Can you hear the birds? Might not, because I'm on fluffy mic. But Archie and I took the goats up on the bike, because the road's quiet in the morning. And I'll give you an update of what we got done at the close of yesterday. So here is a back of the house. You can see just where they raised the roof, there's a couple of blocks in the 80s. Here's the old window that we found in the ensuite, remember, in Jenny's master bedroom. There's the bathroom, and that was that little blocked up ensuite window. Yeah, it's a nice wall. And there's a clearer distinction at the front between the old building and the new, but you can just see it here. Maybe you can see it, I don't know. It's clearer at the front, I'll show you. Because we definitely thought that room was added. This is very thin, like almost layers of whitewash rather than lime plaster. So it might be just as easy to take it off with the sandblasting. And then, yeah, this window was added at a stage. Well, Mary and Edward would have added that. This monster wall we haven't done yet. That's Monday's job. Okay, CCTV, it's just us. Look at the overhang on that. But it's existing, it's been like that a long time. I think it's good. So this definitely is this is the parlour. This is the room that we know that they knocked into. It would have originally been some form of outbuilding attached to the house, and then they knocked it through. So here you can see original wall. Where they've built up for the window is thicker on the outside because it's not the full depth on the inside. And they had built up lots of extra bits here to try and straighten out the walls. So they put on this really, really, really thick layer of plaster. There's Mary and Edward's porch. Put on with their lovely bricks. All ready. When I chipped that off yesterday, that was quite wet. They have already dried out. There's little bits of cement, that cement there. It just seemed to be... Oh, look. Hello, I didn't go very far. Oh, Ernie found the rose bush. Well, it survived worse than you, Ernie. I think it'll be okay. But we'll not get any flowers this year. Well, so here you can see the definition of where the original cottage ended. See the big cornerstone here? This is that master bedroom suite. Remember down at the bottom? So here you've got the big cornerstone, and you can see that was the end of the wall. So we were right on that. Isn't it just like peeking into our diary when you get all these skins off? And there's quite a bit of concrete down around the bottom, which is, I think, what was causing some issues. Because I really don't think the ground level is particularly high. I think it was the concrete, but like already dried up considerably. This outside wall, I'm going to see if I can show you without actually going out there, because the goats will follow me and the road is getting busier. I don't know if you can see that. So that was really thin lime plaster, and the thin lime plaster is the worst to take off because it's just pain in the backside, because you can't neither get behind it or not. Look, a lot of it was boast like this, and it just comes away really easy. But that's why it wasn't doing its capillary action job, because it didn't have contact with the stone. So, oh, my glove. So yeah, this wall comes off really easily. So I think we'll finish the front with the concrete definitely next week. That was fine. Okay, but today we're not chipping. Today, because we've got the goats with us, we're clearing brambles. Come on, guys. We've got to get to work. Come on. Come on. You left Archie till it. I thought you guys were helping Archie. You just dumped him to be nosy. See what I was doing. That's just a bag of sand. Calm down. Brambles actually have a tap root, so this will all need dug out, but we're going to do that when the digger comes, shake out all the roots, and then we'll just have to keep on top of them as they pop up. But this at least lets us see what's in the area. You can't even get in here to see what's going on. And I do think this will be a really nice bed in the garden. I tell you boys, you're full of surprises because I thought you were going to be over here eating this up like a buffet. Go and look at Mummy cutting up her dinner for us. And no, you're not. Full of surprises. You could not second guess a goat. Can you put the rake in this to see what's sticking in it? Rake in this big bundle and pull. Well, Archie and I put a short out a wee while ago when we discovered this little pile of stones and the pillar. At that point we thought some kind of animal shed. So now we can properly investigate because, Archie, let me show you what I found.
Is it that stuff?
Nope. Look, this metal bar, I think, went across here. So maybe a piggery, maybe pigsty. Yeah, and you had your bar, although it's quite a long bar. So maybe that's an extra, a later addition. So I think,
Yeah, I think that was like a dome and it just fell down. Because all of these are so scattered. So it must have fell
yeah,
down.
they are, aren't they? And then, so I think this, where this tree fell down, makes an opening in the back wall. And so will be the perfect little laneway, a little path into the back lane, because the back lane is closer to our house. So whenever that gets cleared, that'll be the ideal way to bring the goats up, because you're on the main road for such a short distance then. But look, there was like a little something there. That was a gateway in at one point. It's just brilliant, isn't it? Because obviously this has fallen in. I don't know how high it would have been at a time. Oh, did you knock that stone down, Archie? Or was that the, yeah?
Yeah. All of those ones, they must have like fell
Just
down.
fell out. So there, it's quite, it's not really steady. So question is, do we leave this as a little, well, certainly for now, this will be a little romantic ruin in the corner of the garden. But at some point, do you take this right back, investigate what stones you have? It's adorable, isn't it? And then look, we got all these brambles cleared, which are really, really nice. This gets the morning sun here. And look, we can get, wow, we can see down here. Again, I think this was another, you have, that's my gloves, mister. And that's my jumper. Was this a double roomed building? I don't know. But this is quite a nice pathway through we could create there. Put a little potting bench up against the wall. I think we'll definitely clear this. We might leave that as a romantic ruin, Archie. What do you think? Will we clear this bit at some point? Maybe when the mini digger's here. That'd be quite a good connection to the front and the back. Ta-da! You can actually see this wall, and it's such a lovely wall. Such a pretty wall that we can actually see it now, and we can think about how we do some planning for planting. Very much for this garden, oh, that's it. Very much for this garden, I want it natural. I want the moss covered stones. I don't want any clear cut edges, but I want little winding paths. I want lots of little vistas. Like this, oh, you can't see it. This mossy wall. I have great plans for it. And just think that is gorgeous, isn't it, Archie? Because you couldn't see what you had with all the brambles. That's awesome. There's a bit of a weed tree has grown up in the middle of that, and I think I will take it out just to make it easier that if we do ever clear that. But for now, I really like that. That could be our impromptu rockery. We clear out all the nettles and things. We could put some gorgeous ferns in there. Anemones. All these little woodland pops of colours coming through it. It's going to be fab. And the ivy that we cut off this tree is dying back really well, actually. I just did that as a tester one to see how it would go, and it's going good. So at some point that will come down to let that tree breathe. And then didn't want to do them all at once because it's quite ugly in the process. So just working our way through. Look at him. Living their best lives. He's trying to hook that with his horns. Look.